wish I could find the name, but I don't know what any towns out there. I could find it in the codes. So many things I'm not familiar with in Hebrew that would be in the codes. He's already here. He's in the Sinai Desert hiding. Now, when he's going to come forth publicly and proclaim who he is, begin his charade, I don't know. But he signifies the black horse, and the Sananda, this coming Jesus Christ, represents the pale horse. It's the pale horse. And that's why I've been telling believers for years it's important to call the Son of God by his real name, which is Yahushua, because his name is not Jesus. His name is Yahushua, because the one coming as Jesus has always been Satan's general called Jesus. And they hoodwinked the church for thousands of years, got them put Satan's general's name as a translation of Yeshua in the KJV. Now you see all the deception over the years. You wonder, when you think back 2,000 years ago, 4,000, however long it really was, when Satan caused a third of the angels to rebel, his whole thing was that he wanted to be worshipped as God. And so how do you do that? Well, you change somebody's name to your own. And then everybody who thinks they're worshiping that one person is actually worshiping you because you've changed the name. And so that's what Jesus has done. This Satan's cleverly done, is that everybody's worshiping his general named Jesus under the guise of you call him by this name Jesus. And that's how he steals the praise of the Lord's people. He steals his praise because people are calling out to Jesus, and that's Satan's general. The real name of the Son of God is Yahushua. And it's not that hard to learn. Even my 4-year-old can say it. Or my 7-year-old now, when he was 4, he could say it. So start calling him by his real name, so that when this Jesus comes, it doesn't faze you. And these guys are cons, very vicious. You know, mankind's not even going to be prepared for famines that are coming, let alone beings from the supernatural realm coming on earth as acting as messiahs. In Matthew 24, it warns about falling for people who can display supernatural signs and wonders. And despite the warning, how many flocked after Benny Hinn crusades? And he's what? Satan's mouthpiece on earth? And how many have been deceived by Benny Hinn? And this whole Pentecostal thing? This hocus-pocus false miracles? And they could probably even do real miracles, because Satan does have a lot of power. He's limited in some ways, and in other ways he's granted a lot of power. And so don't be deceived by that, folks. Don't fall for the charades. You know, so many people ask me questions that they could be found in the Bible in 5 seconds. You know, they don't read their Bibles. People are not reading their Bibles. Much easier to send somebody an email than to read the Bible. And people need to get into their Bibles and read. Because if you know what you know from reading, then you're going to be able to see the deceptions that are coming. Now read Matthew 24. Read the book of Revelation. Be very familiar with the book of Revelation. So you'll know. You'll have some discernment. Ask the Lord for discernment. You know, quit asking him for a car and a house, and ask him for discernment. Ask him for the truth in all things. I'm going to get to some questions from listeners. If you have any questions, you can send them to SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com. Hey, Sherry, is anywhere in Pennsylvania safe to flee to? Northeast will be safe when I'm done with it in about a month. The northern mountains of Pennsylvania feel good to me, and so northern parts of Pennsylvania. And I'm hearing about Walmart limiting how much rice you can buy. Yeah, that's what the Walmart, Sam's Club stores that they own. I have not seen a shortage of rice anywhere in my hometown. I don't know if anybody else is, but I could walk into my hometown and buy 5 10-pound bags of rice, no problem. And so stock up on stuff while you can, folks, until there is noticeable shortages in the stores. So if you live in Pennsylvania, or go in the mountains, know where you're going to head and then get it organized ahead of time so it's organized by the time you get there. I heard on TV that people are starting to get their rebate checks and going straight for the plasma TVs. God help them. LCDs are bad enough. These plasmas, there's just something very eerie about them. When you see these plasma holes in space and everything else, it's bad enough that they can travel just through a computer monitor into your house. But these plasmas, they just make the hair stand on the back of my head. Stay away from the plasma TVs, folks. Hallelujah, Sherry, you tell us like it is. Love you so much. Love you too, sister. Question from a listener. Do you think it is appropriate to call someone a Talmudist because they keep unleavened bread in its season? I don't. My family and I recently kept Passover unleavened bread. We are not Talmudists. That's the well, the Talmud people and the Torah people normally don't keep Passover at the same time, and the Talmudist time was last week. So I'll just leave it at that. You can go to AskMoses.com, who is a Talmudist, and find out when they celebrated Passover, and it was last week. So Talmudists kept Passover last week, and the Torah and the Talmud always have separate dates for the Passover. So, and like I've said, folks, the Messianic, people think that they're going to get more truth if they leave the churches and head to Messianic temples. They're in the same mess churches are today. Preaching Paul, the rabbis are reading from the Talmud, they're following the Talmud. You don't want a thing associated with the Talmud. It's a satanic book. And so be very careful about even what following these Messianic churches today. I know for most, the Lord's just taking them out of the churches altogether. Hey, Sherry, a question from a listener. Hey, Sherry, what's the deal with the chemtrails on Long Island, New York? We are getting totally pummeled with them almost daily. Also, some of these planes at the end of the day fly very low, like when a plane is coming in for a landing. I'm nowhere near any airport. Could they be releasing biologicals at this low altitude? Well, sure they could. They're releasing poisons, diseases, fibers, blood cells. I mean, there's a host of things coming from these chemtrails. You need to get orgone on Long Island. I know I've got a lot on Long Island already, and it's not enough to knock it out of that whole island. So you just need to get more orgone out. That's all I can say. I've spent a lot of time with Long Island and Manhattan and Brooklyn and other areas. So just get more of it out there. Some areas will be protected and then other areas won't. And so they'll find loopholes, and you have to watch for that. Because if people are going to your area and there's a spot in the sky that isn't getting orgone in it, they'll spray a chemtrail in it. They'll find it. And so you just look where the chemtrails are, and they go get orgone, so they can't get it there anymore. You just seal up your area. Sherry, have you heard of the fake rapture that the government put together by a hologram? Yeah, I think that's like Blue Beam Project. I have that at my website, thewatcherfiles.com, and regarding the Blue Beam Project. This whole fake rapture. I'm starting to think it could very well be. It's very well, but they're going to, instead of targeting the New Agers, they're going to be going after the Christians. Oh, look, the whole congregation's sitting outside when the UFOs show up. Oh, yeah, that could be a mess. That could be a real nightmare. So we need to get word out to the churchdom Christianity that the Lord doesn't need UFOs for raptures, and if they see a UFO to run, because these are Satan's vehicles, folks. Quick question for the show. A listener, since the Mayans talk about December 21st, 2012 being the end of the age or a pole shift, what exactly does this mean for us? What do I care what Satan thinks? The Mayans are certain serpent seed, fallen angel hybrid lines. And so many people go to them over the Lord. And I know it's dominant on the net with the Hopi prophecies and the Mayan prophecies in 2012, and most of us, it's usually just kind of amusing. Okay, what are the Mayans? Them in their 2012. The only thing I see in 2012 is the real second coming of Yahushua. And so, yeah, it's the end of the age for them. They haven't seen nothing yet. He literally arrives in 2012. It is the end for them. I say bring it on. How should we actually take this 2012 thing? Count it down. Count down for it. Because what I've seen in the codes is 2011, 2012, the actual second coming of Yahushua. And so just count down the date. Hey, Sherry, has the Lord revealed how long the famines will last? How many months of food should people stock up? I do believe that we will be here. He's gonna protect his own. Promised the Church of Philadelphia that he would protect them during the hour of tribulation, which is the second half of the tribulation period. The second half of the tribulation period will begin when Sananda arrives. And so I believe that shortly after he arrives, maybe about anywhere from 1 to 3 months, that the Lord will some people believe in a mid-tribulation rapture, some believe that he will just take them and keep them safe somewhere here on the earth. And so that's literally a kind of like a time area to watch. A lot of Christians are going to